Facebook and YouTube. What up, everybody, man? Welcome to the Man Cave Experience. Welcome back to the, if you're a returning listener, have myself, Cedric Edison, and my main man to my left or right, however it's showing up to you, my man, Ron Serving. What's up over there on the other side of the world, big dog?
We are SoCal. We're slowly opening up this pandemic we've been all experiencing. Hot day here in Southern California, a little heat wave going through. But feeling cool inside though, ready for this amazing episode. Excited for what's to come in this next 35 to 40 minutes.
Hey man, y'all, if y'all knew what was going on, man, if y'all been following us on Facebook and YouTube, y'all been seeing the post. I'm super excited about our guest today, man. We actually went through, me, her, and Ron were in the same class together at BHC, Becoming Health Coach at Health Coach Institute is where we all met. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, we first met in November of 2017 in Dallas, Texas at a retreat. And man, just her story, her whole presence, guys, just resonated with me. And we've come across each other in person at a couple of other live events. And no matter what, it's always mad love. But look, y'all, she's the founder of Spark Transformation Academy. She's an LGBTQ activist, health coach, life coach. God, I'm running out of breath, man. We're running out of lines for all the accolades and stuff that this lady has accomplished, man. And I'm really, really proud to be able to say this is not only a colleague, but I would say a friend too. Because if she ever needed me for anything, I'd drop her a dime and help her out. And she knows it goes the exact same way. But y'all, I'm not gonna go too much into that because we're gonna chop it up with her. Hey, please welcome to the Man Cave, Simona Lee Spark, founder of Spark Transformation Academy.
Right.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh my God, thank you so much, Cedric. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for amazing introduction. And thank you for having me here. As I say earlier, it's every girl dream to be in a man cave where we are not allowed.
Oh man. Yeah. We let you into the cave, huh?
Yeah. So awesome to have you here in the cave. And it's just a place where we just invite ourselves in, first of all, as men, just really trying to show up, share, explore, some of those places that men don't typically go, just those, dark spaces or topics that we don't spend a lot of time engaged in. And today's topic is no different. I mean, we love to have the conversations around some of those stickier, challenging situations that we all are, we need to be mindful of. And I know you and I have spoke about, the journey you've gone through, and I believe I've shared with you some of the journey that I've gone through as far as having a family member that has gone through the challenges of gender identity and just kind of what that means within a family, within society, and just within life these days. So I'm just curious, because I know you've spoke so much about this. What do we not know that's really important for us to really, in this space we have today, that people aren't paying as much attention to, that really needs to be brought to the forefront? Because I know you're speaking to big groups and individuals about this, and I know a lot of this information is out there. But what are the things that we're not having the conversation yet that really needs to kind of be pushed to the top?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and for addressing that question. It's a very powerful question. What is it that we do not know? Whew. So I would like to start from just the idea of manhood, right? And thank you for touching on that, because here we are being raised, and we are pretty much in the same generation, right? We are being raised like Men need to be strong. Don't cry. Oh, more than that. Don't cry like a girl. Don't be weak like a girl. Don't be a sissy like a girl, right? So it's just to have an understanding where we are coming from as a man to here we are full grown adult, right? And we learn and we form this belief that in order to be seen and heard and successful and whatnot, we need to repress all the emotions, all the insecurities, all the vulnerabilities, right? And in the same time, what that did for us women is like, that's our job, to cry, to be weak, to don't get ahead, to be afraid, to be vulnerable. So therefore, as a grown adult woman, here I am with the belief that I don't get to go ahead because I'm not a man, right? And in order to get ahead, I need to work harder. I need to tougher up. I need to man up. And then until to the point that I'm losing my whole femininity, which here's the tricky part. It's exactly what my man needs. They need me to be feminine. So from that, my intention is that everybody could tune into that, because like it or not, we are still living into a binary world. And then go a little bit deeper and see what is the whole thing about sex and gender and sexual orientation and gender identity, right? So that got me thinking that obviously was an idea that was worth spreading, and I was invited to give a TED Talk about it. And what if we get to have our own unique gender identity? Each and every one of us.
Yeah.
So then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just thinking a gender for everybody. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because do you know anybody like you? Because that's what the binary world and those ingrained into our bones stereotypes, like two boxes, man and woman, black and white, tall and short, skinny and fat, right? And it's just all these labels that doesn't do anything else but just separate us from each other and for self, really, right?
Right. So I got a question for you. I had a whole nother line of questioning, but this just sparked in me. So, and to give it a little context, I support everything now because I was kind of thrust into the lifestyle with my son's aunts and uncles and everything. And so I had to grasp a whole understanding and ask a lot of questions. And there's still a lot of unprogramming that I have to do. And in hearing you say that, in one part, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But then there's the reality for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, where that makes sense maybe when we're little. But once we come into an age of quote unquote understanding, and now I look down and I see a male appendage, and so I ask mom or dad, hey, what's this thing? And then vice versa for a little girl. So inherently, we're going to have to talk about those differences, because once we have that physical, now there are going to be other things attached to that. So how would I work through that? Because there are some very in-your-face differences.
Yes, I love that question. And if we could only do one thing, and if we could only focus on one thing, I think this is it. I think this is the foundation of like really upgrading the inclusivity, like across the board, right? So the way that I look at sex and gender So first of all, thank you for bringing that in a conversation, because I am a believer as a parent that it's our responsibility to have those conversations with our children. It's our responsibility to become the first educator for our child and have those conversations, right? Whatever that is required for us to do as a work, to not be uncomfortable or whatever the issue might be, right? But we all have access to information. You could go online, you could find definition and scientific explanation and all that. And the way that I like to present it to the parents that I work with, or with preteens and teens that I do workshops, it's very simple. The difference between sex and gender. And it goes like this. Sex, it's between our legs. And gender, it's between our ears.
Ooh, say that one more time. I like that. Damn.
I wish I could claim it was somebody way smarter than me that said this before. If you like it, so that's what I'm using it, right? So sex is between our legs, and gender is between our ears. If we take this as a framework, everything else could be so much simple. Because the sex that it's assigned at birth is just let you know, right? If you're a female and a male, and let you know, are you equipped with something that generates sperms and might become a baby, or are you equipped with something that generates eggs that create a baby? It's all it is. It's biology. But when we go to the gender, it's like, how do we feel? What we do identify as? So that's what is getting so much more complex. And that's where people get lost, because it's like, okay, so I have the sex, but then it's like, I'm attracted to this person. And now we are talking about sexual identity and sexual attraction and gender identity. And it's like all this smart terms and too many terminology that we get lost. And then we just need to step back. This is the sex, what I have between my legs, and my gender identity is how I feel. So that's why, that was the seed of my idea of what if there is over 7.5 billion gender identities on this planet, and everybody get to be their own.
Yeah, and I loved your TED Talk.
Thank you.
I was just, it was mind blowing. I was just like, holy shit, I've never really thought about it like that, you know. And if we were to able to dial it back, we could be some really, well, we already are sophisticated beings, but just tapping into a different part of that, you know, it's almost sci-fi. You know, it's so out there, but when you really just think about the basics of it, it's really simple. It's just so simple to it's hard for us to grasp that idea. It's just like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Because I was listening to another colleague of ours, Sarah Vanderster, earlier, and she was talking about energies. And not to get too metaphysical, y'all. And it was just the male and female energies. And I know that has a lot to do with gender, who we're identifying with. Man, because we can go on forever and ever. 3 coaches on this on this topic.
Yeah. But it's funny, you talk about how sophisticated we are. You know, I feel when I've been, you know, kind of in my mind and in my thoughts and in my shares, just so often go to just that we're 99.99999% biologically the same. And it just seems like society is willing to find one new way or one ongoing way to create separation. And whether it's black or white or male or female, or, I mean, why is it not possible that we can't just look at ourselves and experience ourselves as human beings versus, you know, just these things that we get caught up in and how we're different? It's such a small percentage. And not that I'm not at times have something that's, you know, where I don't I'm not in line with exactly what I'm saying as far as having, growing up, in different prejudicial type scenarios. For me, it was more, Asians became more of an more, present in society and schools, and so that was probably the difference for me. I wasn't used to having that culture, and I think that didn't feel right. It never felt like something that felt natural, felt good to create that separation, or even not even try to understand more about them. And for me now, because I worked in a city that was has really grown in their Asian population, and there's so much value in what they bring to my life. So I feel like, although we're talking about gender identity and male female energies, I mean, those are all important things to speak about. But it's like, for me, it's like I rise up to the point where I'm like, we're freaking human beings. It's like,
yes.
I guess keeping that in context, right, of this conversation we have about individual topics, and so when I learned of your what you've gone through, Simona, in your life, again, we've gone through a family member that's gone through a whole process, and I'm not going to go into the details of that, but the important thing for me is to see my son, who's now 15, totally accept and integrate this whole change in this individual to where they're at now. And it's just such a beautiful thing to he doesn't even think about it. He doesn't even question it. He doesn't. So, and I know that's probably not the normal, unfortunately, but it gives me hope that if you do things right, and like you said, it starts with the parents and how we share and grow and learn and really keep open communications with our children, how important that is. So I know that's not a question. I guess it was just more an appreciation for what you're doing and how it's affected me in my life. So
I appreciate that, and we are not here just to ask questions and have answers. Like, I believe that we are here to have a conversation. I think it's super powerful. So I appreciate the space that you guys are created for such provocative conversation, and just say it as it is, right? And I really like that you find the magical tide of how what could be one way that we could just let go of all the separation and labels, and to actually focus on what we have in common. Because who is to decide that you belong to the Black people, or to the white Christians, or to the gay, or to the white immigrant woman, or whatever? It's like we are all belonging to the freaking humanity. So let's ground into the humanity, right? And I really have an understanding of myself and you and anybody else, like we know where we came from, and the programming that Cedric was mentioning earlier. And we have options. Like, we have options, especially as parents. And I'm really like grounding into this conversation to talk with parents. We have option to do whatever our parents did to us, or we have the option to do things differently. And it's in our power. So I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's a very simple decision, right? Am I gonna pass to my son everything that my parents and my grandparents and everybody passed to me? Or am I going to go and get educated and pull in the support to work around whatever fears or limiting beliefs that I have, so I could, which is the paradigm in my practice, is to become the parent that my child needs. I don't care what you think about my me as a parent. Your opinion means nothing. The only person that has to have an opinion about my parenting is my own child. So I'm called to become the parent that he needs. I'm not called to become the better parent in comparison with another parent. That doesn't help my child.
No. And we've kind of, I guess, in parallel to that, I mean, I posed that question when Cedric and I were on one of our episodes, and we've talked about a variety of topics: love, fear, vulnerability, just all topics that obviously go back between they're experienced by both men and women. So I just asked the questions like, would you not listen in now because if I told you that I was, told you the audience that I was gay or Cedric was gay, or how would that change what you've already experienced from us and knowing who we are? It's just interesting how people are so willing to quickly switch the channel when it doesn't feel right for them versus the value that they've already created in your life and really connecting to that at a deeper level.
And
exactly. And this is what I get really sad, because I am doing a lot of volunteer work in different parenting groups, and I get really sad, and I still have a hard time understanding how a parent that it's claiming that is loving that child unconditionally, as soon as that child is coming out, they turn that back to me. It's just, I can't understand. And I was having a conversation with Cedric the other week, and what is to me when I'm in a conversation with another parent is like, listen, we are raising our future. So it's not about where I'm coming from and where you're coming from. And I was telling Cedric, I'm like, I need you to raise your child into inclusive environment. So if your son with my son work in the same place, he's not going to judge my son because he's gay. And Cedric need me to raise my child into inclusive environment. So when my son with his son work together, my son will not look at him like he's black. It's the same thing. The principles are the same. We could talk about different, immigrants and whites and yellow and Asian and blacks and whatever. We could talk about all of them, but the principles are the same. We want our kids to get along. We want our kids to be more evolved than we are or we were, and look at the human in front of them and nothing else.
I was thinking about that earlier, and we can go a whole lot deeper, but it was more along the lines of, as parents, we should manage our expectations, because a lot of times we're expecting our kids to be us. And it kind of came because after we talked, I posed a simple question to Facebook. Hey, fellas, what would you say if your kid came and told you were gay? And it was kind of torn, but I saw a lot of men in general. Man, I would feel like a failure as a dad. That's an expectation, and now you're setting yourself up. And a good buddy of mine, we actually had to take it offline because the conversation was getting too much. And it was just one of those like, well, I love my child unconditionally. I love them. I'm going to support them. I want the best for them. And then they give me that canceling conjunction, I call it, but you just cancel everything out. But if they get married, then I'm not going, and I'm not supporting that lifestyle. And I'm like, so that's a conditional love. You love them, but if they don't fit this condition, then we put it on pause. And so that's kind of where that was at. But I'm going to ask this because that was a question I get a lot, and it crosses my mind. I'm in Deep South. I'm about as far as you can get in the South, in Texas, Black male, all of this stuff. So my dad's a pastor, this Christian family. So and I'm elevating to where it's all about love. But what would you have or begin that conversation when you have someone who's genuinely devout, not like you have the Bible thumpers or the very judgmental, and they're kind of rightly reading it, and they believe that word, and they believe that lifestyle is just not right.
Yeah.
And they're so fearful, or I wouldn't say fearful, but they're mindful of their afterlife to where they have to stay in line with this doctrine. how do we navigate that? How
Mhm.
does a parent navigate that tight line? Because not everybody is like, I could say us, where it's, oh man, I love everybody. We're just a human race. Some people it's Muslim, Christian, Buddhism, and that's who they are. So what do we say or start that conversation with those folks?
That's the reality we are living in. That was beautiful, Cedric. And there is a lot to cover because you went through what you went like, and I appreciate that every single word. But no, but let's get rid of the but. and how we navigate this, it's exactly how you done it a few days ago. You grow some balls and you dare to ask the provocative question, regardless the people might be triggered or not. You asked that question on Facebook and some people were triggered, and that's okay. But that's how we change things. We ask the provocative questions and then we have a conversation. We could have it here, we could have it in private, we have it where we need to have it, but we're gonna have that conversation. Because that's how we open our mind, and that's how we open our closed doors and just to other possibilities, right? And now having the understanding again that we came where we came from, with whatever belief system and programming that we came from, and we did not ask for it. It's just been given to us, like, take it. You are to be born in this body, with this color, in this religion, in this community. You are to be raised with this set of rules. And now you're an adult. Navigate life. So you don't know anything else. You only know what is being given to you. So that's, us as coaches is like how we support our clients, right? Understand when they are and going back and say, okay, but how do you like your life to look like from here on? Because you do have the power to rewrite all this programming, right? Now, stepping back to the parenting, to the issue in the conversation is, as you say, I love my child unconditionally, but, right? And really having an understanding that it's coming probably, I don't know, it's different for everyone, but what I'm seeing through my work is coming from the belief that sexual orientation is a choice, and it's put like a lifestyle. If you choose to live like this, and this is words and language that as parents we really need to be mindful of, right? When we use it with our children. Like, I'm a proud parent to say I have an amazing relationship with my kid. I kind of knew that he's gay, but you don't know for sure until that actually they come out, right? And from the minute that he knew until the minute that he come out, it passed 2 years. And when we have the conversation, like what happened, in his mind that held him back, knowing that I have gay friends, that we are inclusive family, that he's allowed to dress whatever colors, like I break all the stereotypes, right? And he says, Mom, I knew that you're inclusive, but I was worried that might change if it's about your own child. So as parent, we get to tune into, we don't know what's best for our children. We want to believe that we know, but we don't. We don't know what is best for us. And we make it to 30, 40, 50, 60, and we still don't know what the hell do we want in this life, right? If we get to be honest. So then it's like, how can I create a space for my child? And what is it the work that I need to do on myself to allow them to grow into who he's meant to be? That has nothing to do with what I want for my child. So another way of looking of inclusivity, am I gonna make his life about me, or I'm gonna make his life about him?
That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I mean, I know there was more there, and probably I lost some of the pieces. Yes, because you was asking about fate, and I want to get back to that. I don't want to promote my programs here, but I do have my own podcast. And if you guys want to get back to your audience, I'll be more than happy to send you a particular link of a pastor that preach against LGBTQ community, and just to hear his story of how his faith changed when his son came out as gay, and then his daughter came out as lesbian, and he needed to change his whole view about the world and choose a new church and a new faith, because that is the lesson. Are you the parent that your child needed to be? Or it's something else way more important for you in this life? Because you get to choose what's more important.
I would love to, if you would share that link and we can get it out to you guys, once she shares that with us. I'm interested in hearing that episode myself. And thank you.
Yeah, I will do it. No problems. Yes, it's what I like especially on my podcast, is to collect those stories, because and not only for the youth or for the young adult that might be confused, like, I have no support, there is no community, I don't know what to do, maybe this happened to me and I'm the only one that's going through this, right? So then I want to bring people with their own story and their own experience so they could relate to. But mainly I'm doing it for the parents, because as parents we get to tune into you afraid about your daughter might be a lesbian, go get friendly with a lesbian person and learn about what that is like. So you could educate yourself, so you could become the parent that your daughter needed, or whatever the case might be. And I would like to add, if I may, just for a couple minutes, there is a lot of what I see mainly is this, if you could get rid of that language, it's going to be so much better. It's a phase. They're just going through a phase. Can we not say that to our children? And if you step back, we don't need a lot of science, and I don't even need to be right. You could go and read on your own and learn the definitions and all that. But just to understand how one knows who they are and when. So we could split it into two groups, if you wish. We talk about transgender, and this, I have a couple contact me the other month or so and says, well, our 5-year-old girl tell us that she's a boy. What does she know? She's only 5. And that is what it is with transgender individuals. A child would know they're in a quote unquote wrong body, and they will communicate that to you as soon as they could articulate the words. They don't know what that is. They have no judgments. There is no filters. There is no concepts, no limitation. They're just going to tell you, stop telling me I'm a girl. I'm not a girl, Mom. I'm a boy.
Well, so to play devil's advocate on that, because I have a 2-year-old. And if I and I'm just using that across, because that's almost making it a blanket statement. And if my kid comes in and says, Dad, I'm a frog, it's far-fetched, but if he comes in, I'm not accepting the fact that, son, you believe you're a frog. I'm not taking that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of where one of the issues is, because we're looking at him like it's a kid. Oh, I'm a Disney princess, or I'm this, I'm that, I'm a frog, or I'm Peter Pan. Yeah. We think, oh man, that's just their imagination. So where does the imagination start and end and reality kick in? So that's why I think a lot of people would say, no, I'm not accepting that from a kid.
Yeah, good point. And as a parent, I'm watching what's happening with my child. Are we playing a game? Because the conversation is going. It's not coming to you once. It's going. It's like, would you please cut off my hair? Stop calling me Lucy. That's a girl name. Those are the things that transgender children are saying to their parents. As they grow, they keep claiming their identity. And then if the parents are there to learn, get the support, and try to support them and understand what they're going through and allow them to evolve into who they meant to be, it's one thing. And the other option is to say, no, 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 no. And that's why you see adults in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they go to the doctor and they start the transition process because there is nobody in their life to tell you cannot be who you are. So they finally make a decision to finally be who they are in the middle of the life. And that's huge because there is no evidence at birth. At birth, you get the sex, but you don't get the gender, right? And then when we look further into the am I gay, am I lesbian, am I bisexual, or whatever, it's really looking at the age of preteens and teens when those hormones are popping around, right? It's when they find out. It's like, okay, as my son will say, it's like all my boyfriends will look after the girls and I'll be like looking in the other direction.
Okay.
Was not a choice. And even when you say choice, what it's coming to me, it's all the bad stories of preteens and teens. They're bullied, they're called names. I mean, you know those stories. Do you think that child is choosing that? No,
Right.
what he does is start hating that he feels like that, but you can't deny it. It's not a choice. Nobody chooses to be bullied. Nobody chooses to be called name. Nobody chooses to be rejected, and no child chooses to lose their family because at age of 14, 15, they are put in the street.
Right. And why can't the parents just own it and just say, this is a phase that I'm going through to understand and accept my daughter or son,
Thank you.
what they want to experience in their life.
Yes, it's a phase for the parent, it's not a phase for the child.
Right. And it's just so
Because we
amazing.
do know.
Yeah, people find a way to project their own insecurities onto a situation. It sounds like they're the ones that know what they're talking about versus, what is it about you that can't accept that? I mean, not in a way where you're trying to create, friction. It's just more, how is this really going to affect you? If you've got a son or daughter, or, I always use the adage, I'd rather see two happy lesbians together than two unhappy heterosexual people. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's just common sense to me, and common sense does not seem to be present in many families that can just be open to happiness, open to love, just all the basic needs that we want to experience in our life. We color it with even Cedric and I. I mean, here's a black man from Texas, and his background, and me, a white man from Southern California, and it's like we are who we are. It's like, you love us or you don't. I mean, that's okay. It's not on us to change what we're doing, what we're creating here, because you don't like the fact that Cedric's not a white man talking about topic with me as another white man. It's like that's your choice. You can go your own direction, but you don't need to plop your crap on me and tell me why you don't think it's right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why we want to have understanding, including for the people that they're making all these judgments and all the saying, is just understand that they are coming where they're coming from, and then offer them a space like, let's look at, from a different angle. And it's coming down to, and I really love how you say it, Ron, that it's a face for the parent. It's not a face for the child. Because really, how much 11, 12 years old knows enough to say, oh, shoot, I'm not normal. That is the conversation they have in their mind. Oh, my God, I can't tell my mom. I know she's okay with the gay people, but we are doing so great, and all might just go to hell because I'm gay. I mean, that's the conversation the child have in their head. So don't tell me there is a choice. Just don't tell me there is a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I was because I see we running low, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here because I'm thinking about a lot of the questions that led to deep conversations, and I know people might be looking into it. It's one a lot, and it really, man, it just boils down to, guys, like, I guess I would just have to say we have to manage. Again, like I said at the beginning, manage our expectations. And we can't expect our kids to be us. we have to let them be individuals. And a part of that is allowing them to feel, think, and even believe what they want to believe. And I mean, that's across the board. I was raised a Southern Christian male, but that was thrust upon me, and I can't expect my son to be that. Although I'm no longer, I believe in something greater than, but I'm no longer deep.
Did we lost him?
He dropped the mic.
Drop the mic. I mean, that is the conversation. We can't just pass to our children. In fact, what I got to learn through my own experience and so many other parents with LGBTQ children is just our life expanded because of it. I mean, I thought that I know everything about how this gay thing is, and I realized that I know nothing. But we got into a place of like, oh, we got to explore this together, and let's learn and let's see. And how do you do this? And how is that? And it's like the whole conversation is changing and it's just expanding, and the life is richer, right? So we move from limitation. If we open our mind a little bit, chances are that we're going to open the whole freaking universe so much more than we even imagine.
Right. And can we hold hope and space for those parents that are still adapting to a different life with their son or daughter? And they come to the point where, oh, I guess it's not right or wrong. It's I can now accept that things change, that I don't need to impose what I feel my son or daughter needs to be to make them happy. They're happy. I'm experiencing their happiness. So that's the hope, right? Is those that struggle with these changes, they don't disown their children and don't be a part of their life because of this. They see the results, and that's kind of what we went through. I mean, we now experience an amazing situation that we never would have expected, and that was because we held space, we held love, we held hope, and all those things that are necessary to see, because they're going through it, right? The individual, like we're forgetting about the individual that's actually making this substantial decision in their life, and yet the people that are not even the ones going through it are the ones that seem to be the most boisterous. I just puzzled me.
Absolutely. And I will just say that there is a lot of resistance, as Cedric was said earlier, to let go of the expectation. And it was my case also of stories that make in our mind about what's going to happen with our children. And we kind of imagine the future, like we are the gods to know how the future is going to look like. So we do that as parents. I mean, conscious or unconscious, right? And through my work, I get to participate to multiple international fertility conference where I saw that the common thing is that the parents, regardless, they love their children, they want to support them, but they feel that they lost their child, or they feel that, oh my God, I'm not going to have grandchildren now. And it's like, just relax. Same-sex couples have biological children. And I will tell you that those children are probably the most loved children on this planet. Like, there is no accident with same-sex couple. Like, they don't just have fun in the back of the car and 9 months later, here's the baby. No, they actually go through hell to create that baby. They go to years or surrogacy. They need the third person. They need eggs. They need sperm. They invest $6-figure thousands of dollars into that process, where nobody understands and everybody in their life want to stop them. Why do you put yourself to that? You should stop. How somebody else is carrying your babies? Like, they have challenges that we can't even imagine what they're going through. So that baby, I'm going to go and say, your dads really, 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 really want you.
Right.
Your mom really, 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 really want you. You're the most loved baby on this planet.
Simona, you are freaking amazing. I know we're running short of time here, but I'm hoping This is not the only time you will be here gracing our channel here. I would love to have you back.
I love to.
We could chop it up more about this topic, but we could also be open for other topics. But I just, you, the listener that might be watching this live or watching the replay, our intent is always just to share who we are, what we, kind of the thoughts and processes we're going through in our lives. And then you decide for yourself, what actions you take, move forward with. And we honor that. We're not here to judge your beliefs. We're not here to judge you. We're just asking you to be open to our shares, our values, our way of looking at things. And if you can shift your life or share that with somebody else in your life that might benefit, then we've done our job. So we appreciate each and every one of you. I know I always hand it over to Cedric at the end because he's got a question, kind of the signature question he always asks. Truly love you. Truly appreciate you creating some space and time for us. Can't wait till you're here in the cave again.
Yeah,
Thank you both. I want to let Cedric to close your show here, guys, but I just want to thank you. Thank you both for having me and allowed me to share about my mission and my work. And I really like your invitation of just let people to open their mind to other possibilities, and whatever serve you, take it, apply it. What doesn't serve it, leave it here. And again, thank you so much for creating this space.
Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And I got to give props to Anthony, Ron's son. We wouldn't even have this space if it wasn't for him, I don't think. So props to our AV guy. So
Anthony?
Yeah. So Simona, I've asked every guest that's come into the cave this very exact question. So if space is not an issue, space not being an issue, on your tombstone, what would you want it to say and how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as the mother that moved the mountains to make a better future for LGBTQ community, where they are seen as humans and they have the right to tap into the whole life abundance, regardless of who they love and how they love and where they love, because they love, and it's all it is.
I love it. I love it. And y'all heard it, man. Hey, it's a gender for every human. I couldn't have said any better words myself. Again, Simona, man, thank you. I know it's Wednesday afternoon there where you are. We had to try to schedule this and make it work. We appreciate it. Hope to have you back. You like not little sis, but you like sis. You welcome in the cave anytime. Ron, man, appreciate you. Y'all, we appreciate y'all, man, joining the show. Hey, I'm gonna put it back up there for y'all so y'all can see it. If y'all want to be able to reach out to Simona, here's her information. It's transformation@SimonaSpark.com. Again, she's the founder of Spark Transformation Academy. Some very, very big stuff going on over there. If you want to know what it's like and to have more conversations with her, hey, you got her information. And like I said, she said, and we all say, change starts with a conversation, y'all. Let's just spark change and spark a conversation. Until next time, y'all.
Thank you.
This has been the Man Cave. Love y'all. Appreciate it. I'm gonna get this heart down one of these days. All right.